Welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful January day out here in Squamish, and today we're riding the Santa Cruz Bullit. This is one of the bikes I've been most excited about, similar to that Yeti LTE that I really liked, but significantly lighter in weight. Let's see if this Bullit can match up to that LT's suspension magic. All right, so Santa Cruz calls the Bullit a downhill bike with a built-in chairlift. That's a bold claim, but in 2026, the eMTB market is crowded, and a lot of bikes are just trying to be everything to everyone. So let's see what this one has to say. Here's the deal, Santa Cruz isn't playing the mine is bigger game with batteries. While some brands are pushing 800 plus watt-hour monsters, the Bullit sticks to a 600 watt-hour setup to keep the weight down and handling sharp. There's no gatekeeping here. Whether you buy the base carbon seat or the top tier C seat, you get every bit of that Bosch power. No software locks, no pay to play torque, just a pure rider's machine. Before we get into it, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. If you need anything for yourself or your ride, check out Jensen USA and the host of other links in the description below. YouTube still doesn't quite pay the bills, so shopping through those links does a ton to keep the lights on. Now let's get into the basics. With 170 millimeters of travel front and rear, mixed wheels, and the Bosch Performance Line CX motor, weight is kind of a big story here. With its 600 watt-hour battery burly build, my test bike still hit the scales around 48.5 pounds. To put that in perspective, the Yeti LTE is a beast that manages its mass well, but the Bullit is just plain lighter by over 3 pounds. You feel that every time you try to loft the front end or charge into a line mid-chunder. Let's get right into the fun stuff, because as we know, this bike has a motor and it gets up the hill pretty quick. All right, out on the Santa Cruz Bullit on one of my favorite trails, also one of the scariest trails I know. High speed and chunk. The Bullit isn't an absolute plow, but it's a surgical one. It descends fast, rocky sections with near downhill bike confidence. Unlike some bikes that feel speed limited or get bogged down when the hits come fast, the Bullit stays composed. It doesn't just erase the trail, it tracks with a level of poise that makes you feel like you're cheating. It nears the Yeti LTE level of confidence, but it's easier to place and move around. Let's talk about the steeps. This is the most confident e-bike I've ridden on the steeps, period. The front end sits high enough to keep you from feeling like you're getting pitched over the bars, and the braking traction is immense. You feel perfectly centered in the bike rather than on it, which is exactly what I want when the trails turn into a vertical drop. That 170 millimeters of travel is composed even in the largest compressions. Lastly, when you're really creeping into a chute, rock roll, or drop, 48 pounds and Maven brakes just gives you a feeling of control for longer than bikes at or above 50 pounds. Oh man.
All right, good drop. Yeah, oh, send it.
Usually full power e-bikes feel like a pig in the air. Well, yeah, it's nearly 50 pounds. However, it jumps a bit closer to the Vala or regulator with less travel, but it still isn't as poppy as the Orbea Wild. It is predictable and doesn't have a heavy pendulum effect in the air that you get with some of the competitors. It stays lively-ish when you want to play, but stable when you need to send. It honestly jumps as well as some enduro bikes, but it's not the Orbea Rayon or even that aging Santa Cruz Nomad.
Oh my God. Okay.
Good job.
That was so good. Yeah, Samuel.
And then when it comes down to cornering, being a mullet, it's pretty intuitive. It holds traction through the apex of the turn and you're nice and centered. It's not quite as flickable in the tightest switchbacks as the Orbea Wild, which remains my king of agility. But again, it's significantly quicker to change direction than the Yeti LTE. It just leans and goes. Does it track as well as that Yeti? That's a hard one. The oversteer and pushing in corners that held the LT back really aren't an issue with the Bullit. So for a lot of corners, it does outperform. The climb. With a great body position and more than enough torque and power, it climbs better than it has any right to do. You look at a 170mm brawler and expect a wallowing mess, but the Bullit just plugs away. Crazy. Little value added in the morning. It's fast, quiet, and surprisingly efficient. The Bosch Gen 5 motor is the star here. No rattle, just smooth power delivery. The body position is comfortably upright, and because the bike is lighter than its rivals, you aren't fighting the mass on technical rock steps. It just finds grip and goes. Oh, I know you can't really tell on video, but this is steep. It's not impossible on an acoustic bike, but man, it's hard. And it's not easy on this full power e-bike, but I'm not breathing nearly as hard. Whew, and we're through. When you are deciding between the Baller and Bullit, or the Orbea Wild and Transition Regulator, I go back to the idea that if you have all the weight, you might as well have all the capability. These bikes really climb with ease. 20mm of extra travel doesn't make them any slower, so yeah, if I were to buy one, it would be the Bullit or the Wild. If my trails were flatter, then there is a case for those shorter travel bikes, or if I was really pushing for range, but wanted to keep the weight down. We all have different needs and different expectations. If I'm lugging around 48 pounds, I expect the bike to take care of me, and I don't need it to take me over 6,000 feet of climbing on the regular. So let's talk quality and the ownership experience. This is where the Santa Cruz Premium pays off. When you're talking about the lifetime warranty on the bearings, the frame, the wheels, those are all things that you may need on an expensive bike like this. And especially the wheels and bearings, those are just things that you're going to need from riding. On a heavy e-bike that lives in the dirt, that is a massive financial win over 3 years of ownership. It's also worth mentioning that these warranties are for hard riding. Some brands give you a lifetime warranty, but don't forget to register it, because without, that warranty can be significantly limited. Other brands, you get a lifetime warranty on wheels, but only manufacturing defects, which complicates things. Santa Cruz says, and I quote from their website, that is damaged or destroyed by riding. Lastly, that and the bearing warranty, these are things you can easily access through their website. No finding a shop that's not a week out, or that only does warranties once a week and charges for processing. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of great bike shops out there, but as more of these brands go direct to consumer, it's important they take care of the customer just as well as the best local bike shops. Back to quality. The Bullit has been dead quiet. No cable rattle, no motor clank. Everything is well put together. If you're worried about the 600 watt-hour battery, you can always slap on that Bosch range extender. But for most riders' average ride, the weight savings of the smaller internal battery makes the bike handle better. Oh yeah. And here's a look at how my standard range test played out. No surprises, just full power and lots of fun. Let's get right into the Loam library. The Bullit sits here in an ever-growing and cutthroat group. Is it the bike I choose? Well, I'm kind of picky, but it doesn't have any of my personal red flags like super boost or head tube cable routing. I still lean towards mid-power bikes, but if all my friends have full power, if I get left behind, I want it to be my mistake, not the motor. With my friends and my terrain, there's a very strong argument for the Bullit. I'm sorry. So what's my verdict? Is this the gold standard for Gravity e-mountain bikes? And who's this bike for? I think I already answered a lot of this on the way, but I'll try to break it down real quick. Buy the Bullit if you live for the descent, you're tired of tank-like handling, your local terrain is steep, chunky, and demands confidence. I would struggle to find a better fit. It's a purpose-built Gravity Fiend that doesn't penalize you on the way back up. It's a confusing thing to say in 2026, but Santa Cruz is actually offering better value here than much of the competition. You get the full motor spec, the lifetime support, and a bike that actually feels like a mountain bike. E-bikes do offer more, but that comes with more to go wrong, more to consider, and more need for support. In my opinion, Santa Cruz did it right when it comes to the new Bullit. Thanks for watching. If you want to see how this stacks up against the Santa Cruz Vala or the Yeti LT, those videos are on the way. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss them. Check the links in the description and on my channel's page to pick up your own Bullit, flying drone, or anything else you could need for your ride. Now get out there, go fast, and take chances. See you next week. Nice. Love a good slab trail. Oh, this is a odd skinny. There we go. Woohoo!